Hi, this is Shane with the Social Freedom Tribe. I wanted to make a video about the first key of the three keys, which is attention. So the three keys are attention, mindset, and flow. And it might be good to watch the intro video if there's any confusion about the three keys. And I'll just introduce them and introduce what we're all about. Anyways, I want to get deeper into attention, the first key, and how it heals social anxiety. So the thing about social anxiety is that it's this feeling in the body of stress or tightness or anything. It can have many different forms, and we all call it all social anxiety, but it can have many different forms. Could have tight shoulders or anything like that, and it could just be many different flavors of social anxiety. What ends up happening is that when we put our attention into our body, we can kind of like give ourselves a massage, pretty much. We can put our attention into our foreheads and really feel any tingling or warmth or any tightness in our foreheads, and really just keep our attention there on what that's like. What does your forehead feel like? And then you can practice relaxing your forehead by inhaling deep breaths and then pretending that your exhale is relaxing your forehead, or just holding the intention of relaxing your forehead with your exhale. And what you can do is you can just go throughout your body in each piece, your cheeks, your jaw, your neck, throat, chest, stomach, through your legs and arms and back and shoulders. You could just go throughout your whole body and just focus on each piece and just do this whole process of really feeling what that's like and really noticing what's going on in there, and then consciously relaxing it. Or if you're feeling some kind of like stress in your stomach, you can just kind of like try to clear it out, try to disperse it when you exhale. And it might be hard at first, and I think it just takes time. And what ends up happening is that basically we have this part of the brain called the insula, which is our brain-body connection, and it starts building stronger connections to our body. And when we go through our life, we kind of like get these experiences in our memories that have strong emotions tied to them. And what ends up happening is our body kind of just sends us a signal of like, hey, remember that thing? Like, remember when you said this thing and then you got yelled at after? And you're about to say the thing, and then your body is like, whoa! And it just like sends you this strong pulse, like, hey, don't say that thing because you were yelled at after like 10 years ago. And what ends up happening is we can really get tuned into the body and either relax those signals and see what they're all about, or we can actually just follow them and trust them. And it becomes this amazing navigation system when we're socializing and when we're around people. So when we're not really sure what we're doing, we can kind of rely on what our body's telling us to do, or like, whoa, that's a creepy alley. Let's stay away from that. It's kind of like sending you the signal of like creepy whenever you're seeing there, and you can look around, and when you're finally like putting your attention out into the world and not thinking, because we get into these logical, theoretical thoughts that are like, what should I be doing? Theoretically, I should be walking in a circle and follow the right side of the wall, or something like that. But if we're just putting our attention out and then just looking around, understanding what's going on, not logically, but more intuitively, like looking around and having certain emotions when you look at different places, you can kind of get a feel for like, oh, I want to go that direction. You don't really necessarily know why, but your memory and your intuition and your body are kind of telling you like, hey, using the pattern recognition of the decades that you've been alive, I'm telling you that there's been more positive emotions that happen when you go that direction than if you go that direction. And it doesn't make sense, but it's kind of just like a, a congregation of patterns that or memories that your brain has done and put emotions to and then find the pattern recognitions to. And we can just like stop thinking and we can just trust our bodies and just go a certain direction. Maybe our bodies are wrong sometimes, and maybe we could actually like override that and say, I think I know why my body's telling me to go that way, and I'm not going to follow it. But it's just still an amazing navigation system of intuitive creativeness when we are able to get out of our thoughts, get out of our head, and just start really connecting with our bodies, and while like being in the outside world. We can also just really put our attention on the other person and just really start focusing on how they look like, how they seem, what would I feel like in their bodies, and we can just put ourselves in this place of understanding and getting feedback, because I can't really get feedback right here because it's just a camera, but if I had somebody in front of me and I said something and they made a face or they leaned back, I can attune myself to that because I'm putting my attention out of my head and when I'm speaking, and I can see that they're uncomfortable when they're leaning back. So I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to help them feel comfortable, or maybe I said too much and I said, hey, I'm sorry, that was too much. I retract it. I'm gonna take a step back. Maybe I have to leave or something like that. But I'm really just aware of whatever is going on for that person. And if anything, I'm more than just like the remedying of whatever I did or said. It's more about just getting feedback for what I said. So like, oh, interesting. When I say this person has this kind of reaction. And everybody's reaction is different. But it's amazing to have our attention out and see these things. And I can kind of tell when I'm talking to somebody and they're tuning me out almost. So they're not seeing how I seem, and they're not seeing the reactions that I have. They have no sense of feedback for what they're saying. And for flow, feedback is just extremely important. So that feedback comes from just reading people, being aware of people, putting our attention out, and not in our heads and logically like, no, I have to follow this conversation. I have to have this form of conversation. We can also use attention to like kind of tune things out. So it's not just about where we put our attention. It's also about how we turn off our attention on certain things. And there's a book, The Social Animal by David Brooks, I really love, and he talks about it. No, different book. The Emotional Life of Your Brain by Richard Davidson. Yeah, that's the book. And he talks about basically it's kind of like selective tension, where what we do is it's like if you can imagine a ton of television sets all giving us different things, and we can consciously choose to turn up the volume on certain televisions and turn down the volume on other televisions, and we can tune out certain things. Right now, right when I started the video, I heard my upstairs neighbor have loud shower noises and stuff like that. I don't know if it's going to be able to be heard on this video, but it could actually have really sidelined me, and really, before I hit the flow state of having this conversation with the video camera, I could have been like completely floored and just been completely distracted by these noises, but I did my best to tune it out and then just stay with it. I was aware that it's happening, but I was just really turning down the volume and staying here, staying with whatever I wanted to say and whatever my body was feeling excited about talking about. And so we can have all these different ways of putting our attention out or lowering attention. We can put it into our body, really get a brain-body connection where we can get this navigation system of life where we understand which emotions we feel with each thing and like know that, oh, I want to go over here. I feel excitement over here. Maybe we feel some fear and we can calm that fear down. Or maybe we can put our attention out onto the other person, understand their world, and kind of have this like empathy, where empathy is like, what would I feel like if I was hunched like that? And we could start changing our feelings and like actually picturing what feelings we would have, and maybe we could picture something happening in our lives. Somebody's talking and they're talking about how something terrible, like their mother died or something like that, and we can actually put ourselves like, okay, what would it feel like if my mom died or something like that? And while they're telling their story, we could actually have a strong emotional connection to their story because we have strong emotional control in the way that we can amplify certain emotions, we can give ourselves certain emotions, we can be attuned to our emotions, and we can feel connected to others. We can have this navigation system of looking around and really knowing where to go, and not from a logical space of like, I need more theory, I need more information, because a lot of people, they feel so unsafe because the world is a chaotic place. No matter how much knowledge and information and theory you get, it just won't become a safe place of like, oh, I know everything. I logically know like exactly what to do in any chaotic situation. You won't. And this is a navigation system of like a best guess, pretty much. And you can use your logic on top of that. That's amazing if you can combine whatever you know with this intuitive body feeling that goes with the flow and creates and just intuitively says go that direction, and can see and empathize and tune out certain things. It's incredible, like when you notice somebody who has just a complete mastery of attention, they, first of all, they're just really able to get into flow, because flow is distributing your attention, or maybe you just happen to have your attention already distributed into a task. You're not consciously putting your attention into certain things, but there are people that can actually put themselves into flow, and that's what the Social Freedom Tribe is all about, is really consciously putting ourselves into flow and not just going through life and just waiting for it to happen and then just feeling chaotic and social anxiety in social situations. It's how do I put myself into flow when I'm having a conversation, when I'm feeling socially anxious? How do I put my attention and like calm myself down and just have some kind of thing with people and navigate through this chaos? So flow puts us in our mind in order, and the way it does that is because we're out of our heads, meaning when we're in our heads, the thoughts are in control, and we are not the thoughts. The thoughts are just happening to us. They're just these voices that come out and just tell us these things that are really terrible, and then we start identifying with these thoughts and like, yeah, I'm actually not good enough. I'm having these thoughts, so it must be true. Then our body starts feeling stress, and we don't put our attention into our body, so we don't know that we're feeling stress, and the stress creates these other thoughts that are stemmed from stress, which are not going to be good, because the thoughts are just really a reflection of whatever we're feeling. They're not us. It's just we have a certain feeling, and those thoughts are like, oh, he's feeling stressed right now. Here's stress thoughts. Oh, he's feeling happy. Here's happy thoughts. Oh, he's feeling sad. Here's sad thoughts. When I'm sad, I can't even remember I can't remember any time I was ever happy when I'm feeling depression. And or I could like remember like I think I was happy at one point. I don't even know what that's like. It's like a different person. Like it's like that wasn't even me. And I can't even tap into that. I can't have those thoughts that the happy person has when I'm depressed. And also these thoughts create emotions, so it's like a cycle when we and like there's like a pain cycle with the whole you bruise yourself and then the pain starts the twitches, like it starts twitching, so it creates more inflammation, and then the inflammation starts more pain or something like that, and then it just keeps like a cycle of like keep inflaming and getting pain and twitching and all of that. I think it's pain, inflammation, twitching, or whatever, and then pain, and the whole cycle breaks when you put an ice pack on it, and you don't feel the pain, so it doesn't get more inflamed and it doesn't have more muscle twitching or anything like that. So this is a way of breaking that cycle of the thoughts create the emotions, create the thoughts, create the emotions. We can take our attention, break the whole thoughts thing, and put our attention to our bodies and start relaxing that. And then we can break it from two different sides and really start getting out of that. And there's other ways to get over social anxiety for sure, but when we are feeling that and we don't go into our bodies and we don't relax that, then it's just going to get inflamed. Anyways, I hope this helps. I love you all, and have a great day. Bye.